I'm a shareholder in a group that actually has 3 different companies, and all of them have the same goal: to wake up the recruitment industry, to show the market, the region, companies, and candidates that there's a different way of doing recruitment in technology, in training, and with talent. Yes, we moved there when I was 6 years old. I was born in Los Angeles, and my parents didn't think that was a great place to raise children, and therefore they decided to move somewhere else. But they did it by closing their eyes, putting their hand on a map and pressing, and they landed on Colorado, and that's how they chose Colorado. So, I found high school extremely easy. I was lucky in many ways, but when I got to college in Vermont, it was extremely hard, and I had never had to really work hard, and this surprised me. And after my first year, my grades sucked, to be very clear. And my father gave me a very simple option: either improve the grades or come back home and go to a state school, or take a break and go sort it out. And he recommended, go do something, live, work. So I said, I'll go, and I'll go to Europe. We had a family friend who lived in Germany, and I stayed with him for the first half a year, just as a place to base myself and to learn how to live and work on my own, and basically how to work hard. I needed to kick my own butt, and it worked. Look, in the 90s and in the early 2000s, many expats, we would have what were called bad check days. And a bad check day is when you went to the post office, for example. That almost guaranteed a bad check day, because you just got frustrated with the lack of interest in doing anything or helping someone. But though that's changed quite a lot. I even go to a post office near where I work, and there's kind of young people that are relatively helpful. And I think that the willingness to try and to change and to consider other ideas, it's changed a lot in the last 15 years. So now, no, I don't think there's much that I would call strange. An American will usually talk about themselves and how wonderful they are on the CV, because that's partly what we're taught to do. Be confident in yourself, make sure that they know what you've done well, especially on the paper when you're applying for a job. And typically on a Czech CV, it's a little bit more modest. When I consult people on writing CVs, one of the first things I tell them to do is make sure you break down each job into responsibilities and achievements, because most Czech people don't, and that's just natural. I find Czech people to be much more humble and modest, to a fault sometimes, because finding salespeople here for a long time was very difficult, because to sell you have to sell yourself. So when you have a person come in, then it's also a challenge if you're looking for a Czech salesperson, because they need to sell you themselves first. And that can be a challenge if you're not raised in a society that looks positively upon somebody who's confident and outgoing and the center of things and can sell themselves. If it's looked at negatively, then you're not going to have a lot of salespeople. Versus the States, where individuality is promoted and encouraged from a baby, school age and beyond, then it's quite easy for somebody to come in and say, I can do that job. And I say, well, have you ever done the job before? Nope, but I'm confident I can do it. Okay, Mr. American, let's see. And to the Czech, I say, can you do this job? I don't know. Okay, but you have all the skills. I know, but I've never done it. But I think you could. Do you think you could? I don't know. If you think I can, maybe. So, two kind of extremes. I wouldn't mind in the middle. Yes. I would encourage your classmates to be proactive in whatever you do, and not to wait around for somebody to do it for you, or a website, or a company, or a service, or an app to solve whatever situation you want. Whether that's finding a job or getting advice, I highly recommend getting out there, picking up the phone, sending an email, going on LinkedIn or someplace else. And if you want a job, if you want to work somewhere, if you want to get some recommendation, ask. Don't wait for somebody else to do it for you. If you do that, you start to stand out. And I can tell you from my perspective, when I have young people who approach me and say, I have an idea. Can I talk to you? Would you meet with me? I'm looking for this. I need some advice. Would you have 15 minutes? I always say yes. Because I have a lot of respect for somebody who does things like that. And not enough people do that nowadays.